The SEC officially shut down the Floyd Mayweather-promoted ICO Centra, claiming that it is a scam. IBM claims blockchain will have a $3.1 trillion effect on the economy. Vitalik ridicules Craig Wright as a fraud and then goes on a Twitter tirade. Japanese crypto exchange Coincheck is forced to seek financial assistance in recovering from the $500 million NEM hack. And to fork or not to fork is Ethereum's ASIC question. Don't let the FUD get you. We've got green numbers across the charts today as the market bulls to $280 billion market cap. We've got all your headlines mixed with some daily market analysis. I'm Elio Trades, and your FUD TV daily update starts now. Diving in here on the total market caps, we can see that Bitcoin is up over 6%, which is always a phenomenal sign. Obviously, we thought we were building steam throughout February. As you see, we bottomed out here on February the 5th, and we thought we really, or the 6th rather, and we thought we were really working our way back here up until March the 5th, exactly 1 month later when we were beaten back, and we've just been bearish really ever since, with a slight rally here on March 18th up through the 21st. But now you're seeing we got beaten back again, and now we're hoping that this is a rally again, where we saw a real bottoming out on Sunday on the April the 1st, and now we're hoping that this is all positive momentum towards up into the right, as they say on the chart. And so we're hoping that Bitcoin can continue this momentum, as we've really seen the market jump from about $250 billion all the way up to now we're at $280 billion. So that's not a bad gain, something like a 20% gain for the entire market. Very cool. And as you can see, the Bitcoin charts are being reflective of that. Bitcoin sitting pretty above 7,500. I know that the price was about 6,500 as recently as a day or so ago. So if you were able to catch that dip, as we suggested you be ready to. Obviously, that's easier said than done, given that we've been so bearish so long. Not everyone has more fiat laying in wait, but if you did have fiat laying in wait, you're probably sitting on some nice gains right now, about $1,000 in gains over the price, which is a phenomenal bump by percentage gains over that Sunday price. As you can see, across the entirety of the top 10, we have a nice green feeling here, with Ripple clocking double-digit gains above 10% here, and you see Litecoin with a nice 15% gain here, popping its head back up to this $136 range. EOS with a slight gain, Cardano with a slight gain, Dash with a nice boost here, 12%. Of course, if you're looking for the biggest gainer in the top 100, there is without doubt, it is Verge. So the reason this is pumping is because the CEO or the lead dev of Verge is this guy Sunarock, or I think Justin is his first name. But he said this is going to be perhaps the largest adoption of a non-top 3 coin ever to happen. And that quote, it could be the largest adoption of a virtual currency ever. There's a lot of hype around a potential partnership or a partnership announcement upcoming from the Verge team. Now, we do want to warn you, the Verge team is very much so notorious. And when I say Verge team, I mean Sunarock, as the Verge team, as far as we know, is just one person. The reality is that we don't know what to expect from the Verge team, and that after this whole crowdfunding debacle, where essentially the Verge founder, this guy Sunarock, asked for 75 million Verge from the community in order to release a big partnership that he had set up. Now he's saying that this is the biggest partnership known to man, that this is going to be the biggest cryptocurrency virtual adoption ever. Here's our prediction on this one. This partnership is going to come out. It's going to be somewhat underwhelming. People are going to sell like wildfire when this thing comes out. Incredible example of buying the rumor and selling the news. This is absolutely rampant throughout the cryptocurrency community, where a rumor goes around, people hop on the rumor, they imagine what the rumor is, and when the news comes out, it's nothing of the sort, and people all panic sell and try to take advantage of the good value. Regardless, I'd almost bet money that essentially that this is going to pump and pump until the partnership announcement. The partnership announcement is not going to be all that it's cracked up to be, and this thing's going to fall. Even if the partnership announcement is good, this thing is going to fall. There's a ton of speculation around what this partnership might be, which is causing this Verge price to pump like crazy. But the reality is that this guy Sunarock, the lead dev of Verge, is not exactly the most trustworthy fellow. This could be a revolutionary piece of news, but honestly, I believe that this is more likely some kind of weird attempt for this guy to get some money back. As we know, he's been being hacked left, right, and center. This CEO, the lead dev, Sunarock, he doesn't have any money. He's desperate. He's been posting about how he can't get money out of Coinbase. And right now, this is a very concerning thing to see this coin pumping like it is in the wake of so much unfortunate news around the Verge project. And so I would say approach this with extreme caution. I've got nothing against the project. I'm just sharing with you my opinion based on all the information I have. But as of now, I just don't have that information. So I have to share with you my honest opinion that this pump is unwarranted and based on speculation that will eventually dump right back down. And in our lead news out of the day, the SEC has slapped down an indictment of fraud against the ICO Centra, which was famously backed by DJ Khaled and Floyd Mayweather. The SEC officially filed charges against Centra Tech initial coin offering ICO on Monday, alleging that the token sale, which was promoted by the legendary boxer Floyd Mayweather, was a fraudulent securities offering. The SEC alleges that the Centra co-founders, quote, engaged in fraudulent conduct and made material misstatements and omissions designed to deceive investors. Damn. Essentially, the SEC's complaint revolved around the misstatements or flat-out lies that the co-founders of the Centra Tech project had partnerships or working relationships with Visa, MasterCard, and Bancorp. The reality is that these relationships did not exist and that this initial coin offering was made under false pretenses or fraudulent pretenses. Obviously, the biggest part of their marketing scheme was the use of celebrities such as Floyd Mayweather. As you can see by this tweet here, Floyd Mayweather put out all of his championship belts and said the ICO starts in a few hours, get yours before they sell out, I got mine. Although neither Floyd Mayweather nor DJ Khaled was named in the indictment, this shows a whole new level of involvement by the SEC going after what is a very fraudulent ICO that completely misled its investors. Obviously, in the cryptocurrency space, it's sort of considered on you or on the investor to do your due diligence or do your research. But obviously, in this space, we do rely heavily on the information presented by these companies. It's not very often that you go and you sort of question the release or the press release of a company when they say officially we have a partnership. Usually you just assume that they do. Unfortunately, this was not the case as Visa and MasterCard sent multiple cease and desists to the ICO, the Centra ICO, that were not responded to. So this is just an example of fraudulent behavior by the founders and the co-founders. Hopefully this stops. This is bad news and bad behavior. And this is the kind of behavior that drags down and delegitimizes the entire industry. We do support the crackdown by the SEC on this type of behavior, as these are bad actors in the system, not good actors. All crypto is not just benevolent. The reality is that there are bad actors in the space and crypto is being used for bad things. So while crypto and blockchain are amazing, revolutionary, and some of these projects are going to change the world, we have to root out the bad actors and have a system for treating and dealing with bad actors, as that's guaranteed to happen given how much money is flying around the space. In the second most important news out of the day, we see here that Vitalik Buterin is about to call Craig Wright, who claimed to be Satoshi but is obviously not Satoshi, a fraud. Listen up.
Fraud allowed to speak at this conference.
So he said there, why is this fraud allowed to speak at this conference? And obviously Craig Wright doesn't have much of a response because he's a dummy. But that didn't end it right there. Vitalik, our guy, went on a Twitter tirade here, a 62-part Twitter tirade, as you can see, where he has numbered all of these tweets, essentially going through this whole event, all these random thoughts. He calls out a few different dogmas in the industry, and he sort of doesn't take the side of Bitcoin Cash, but he puts this kind of even-handed, like, hey guys, like, here's my counter argument to the 1 megabyte block size, which is very big for Bitcoin Core or Bitcoin people. The reality is that there's a lot going on here, and we thought this was very newsworthy. This is kind of gossipy news, as this, not all of this is directly, some of this is gossipy stuff. But the reality is that this is very important, a lot of the stuff he talks about. And so we certainly encourage you guys to check out Vitalik's Stream of Consciousness twittering. In other Ethereum news, there is a raging debate as to whether to become ASIC resistant. If you don't know what ASIC mining is, it's application-specific integrated circuits, ASIC, which means that these are miners, or essentially supercomputers, that have been created to do one very specific thing. Now, Bitcoin ASIC miners are only able to mine their very specific Bitcoin algorithm, which is a SHA-256 algorithm. The Ethereum algorithm is a different algorithm, and the way it was set up was to be ASIC resistant. However, that may soon be changing, as it seems that ASIC miner producers have figured out a way to sort of work around the ASIC resistance in the current Ethereum algorithm. Now, to fix that, the Ethereum community is facing a decision as to whether they want to fork now to become permanently ASIC resistant and to essentially render these new ASIC miners useless. The reason why ASIC miners are considered a bad thing for the industry is that they tend to lead to centralization. They're very expensive and hard pieces of machinery to get your hands on, as they're only being manufactured by really one company, Bitmain. Although there are now new entrants into the ASIC mining field, the reality is the field is very, very narrowly dominated by a few players. this leads to centralization, which is very much so diametrically opposed to the movement of cryptocurrency. So there's both ideological and practical reasons for ASIC resistance within the Ethereum algorithm. However, there's also arguments that ASIC mining will be a good thing for the community. And right now there's a big decision as to whether Ethereum is going to hard fork, meaning that they're going to essentially split their blockchain off, leave the other one in the dust, and continue on a new chain that will essentially be ASIC resistance, where these miners will be useless. We do believe that this will go forward and that there will most likely be a hard fork that makes ASIC mining very difficult or impossible on the Ethereum algorithm. However, we don't know yet, and this is a huge change that could potentially affect the whole Ethereum community and specifically the Ethereum mining community. And if you're GPU mining off Ethereum and this ASIC mining equipment hits the market and you're not able to adjust, essentially your mining return would go down dramatically so. And as we mentioned, of course, this is a direct response to Bitmain, the biggest ASIC manufacturer in the world, and that this whole debate is really just going against Jihan Wu's sort of iron grip over the Bitcoin industry, trying to prevent this Bitcoin monopoly from happening to other coins. So we'll definitely keep you up to date, as this is a very important story and it concerns all of us who are either holding or mining Ethereum. And IBM claims that the blockchain industry will eclipse the $3 trillion mark in economic impact in the coming years. Of course, this comes on the heels as they release plans to introduce a microchip, as seen right here. Essentially, this chip will allow for logistics and supply chain management through blockchain, which has been definitely one of the focuses for IBM over the last few years with their partnerships with Stellar Lumen and their deep connection to the blockchain industry. We're very excited about what IBM has in store for us, and we're very much so excited about their bullish predictions for the blockchain industry. And Coincheck Exchange has been forced to turn to private funding sources to help them recover from the $530 million NEM hack that occurred earlier this year. That's right, Japanese brokerage firm Monex is reportedly considering a buyout of the Tokyo-based Coincheck, the cryptocurrency exchange at the center of the recent $530 million NEM theft. This is a huge deal, and it shows that these big hacks are simply crippling to these big exchanges, despite the fact that the Coincheck exchange declared that they were going to make everybody whole and repay the investors everything that they lost. The reality is that this is incredibly hard to do, to come up with over $500 million in liquidity and have it not really affect your balance sheets. The reality is that this crippled this financial institution, it crippled this cryptocurrency exchange. This is evidence that these hacks are a true cancer on the industry, and that one big hack can really ruin not just one big exchange, but can start to crumble the entire industry. It's very negative when one of these industries or one of these exchanges gets a lot of money like this stolen. It calls into question the whole system, and it shows that these exchanges are not solvent enough to withstand this kind of attack. So regardless of what happens here, it's clear that these attacks are serious news, and that they could mean the end of exchanges and potentially a huge extended bear trend in the industry until security reaches a point where hacking like this is not as common. After the potential announcement, Monex shares spiked over 23% following the report, which shows that people are still fixated and excited about blockchain and what it means. Everybody knows how profitable exchanges are, so we know that the industry is moving forward. It's just important to remember that there are points of caution here. We have to increase our security, we have to increase our processes if we want to modernize this industry and have it really affect the world and the economy like we know it can. Thanks for checking out our FUD TV daily update. If you enjoyed it, don't be afraid to smash that like button. Of course, comment below, let us know what you thought about this broadcast. If you're an investor or enthusiast in the space, subscribing to this channel is not a bad idea, as we do cryptocurrency videos each and every day on this channel. Once again, I'm Elio Trades. It's been an absolute pleasure having you with us today on FUD TV, and we'll catch you very soon on the next episode.